Welcome to the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast, brought to you by Yellow Hat Outdoors. All right, welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast. How's it going, Hudson?
It's going pretty good. We're a little excited here right now.
Yep, talking fast. We're feeling good, energized, caffeinated. We're recording at 1:44 in the afternoon instead of 9 p.m., so we're feeling good right now.
We are absolutely locked in. We're about to head out and try and chase us some turkey or deer. Both are on the table right now here. And got the crossbow loaded up in the truck. And we're about to head out there.
We're feeling good. Bucks have been rutting. We're seeing sign everywhere. People are killing them right now. It's Thanksgiving week here, so this will come out in a few weeks here for sure. But we're excited to be out there, ready to get going. Took a little half day today.
Sure.
Quick. So I guess this is what we'll explain. So today, always a crunch for time, especially for me. I'm just a chronic running late kind of guy. I don't know what it is. I try everything in my body to try and be on time, and no matter what, I'm always 5 minutes late. It's just what it is. I don't know how I can fix it. I'm working on it. But anyway, today I was like, Hudson, let's try and squeeze in a little podcast before we go hunting. And that was a good idea, except that we started thinking about how big the deer are at the spot we're going. We started thinking about the fact that it's rut time. We started thinking about the fact that, man, maybe sitting in the blind is better than being inside. And so what we decided was, hey, we'll do a little few-minute intro, explain kind of the weather conditions, situation, what time of hunting season it is, and then we will go out there, kill a monster buck, and then we'll update, kind of circle back around and finish up the podcast in a little bit. So,
Yep. Hopefully, we're going to have a good story for y'all and some pictures and videos of big Oklahoma whitetail getting thumped with a crossbow bolt. So.
Yeah. This will be a cool hunt. It's at one of my spots, kind of in the north part of the city. So it's always kind of an interesting deal because, whenever you're hunting, you always want to really be careful about the shot placement and stuff, but it's really important when there's a lot of houses around. As a hunter, obviously you don't want your deer to run far, but especially you don't want it to run far and die in someone's yard or something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the pros and cons of urban hunting. Pros are nobody hunts this spot. Pros are these deer do not really see. They see people a lot, so they're not super skittish. Also, there's feeders in everyone's backyard, so they're literally just tanking up 24/7.
Yeah.
So, Hudson, you've already got a deer down, but today you're going for the buck.
Yeah, I shot a doe earlier in the season. We talked about it on the podcast. And now it's the rut. We're mid-season right now, and we're holding out for a big boy, for Grandpa to come walking by so we can put one in him. And it's only been getting the antsiness has only been getting worse because we got our dads and buddies shooting these big old deer that you can see on our Instagram and stuff. We throw them up there, and every time you see a picture of one, you're like, golly, man, I need to be out there right now.
And dude, I follow just the Oklahoma Hunting and Fishing Facebook page, and literally just all day I'm seeing just monster bucks.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
You get a little FOMO.
Yeah, and especially right now, we're in rifle season here in Oklahoma right now, and that multiplies the amount of deer you start seeing that are getting killed because a lot of people will go out and gun hunt, and which I don't gun hunt really at all for whitetail. I killed my first whitetail whenever I was 10 with a rifle, and then after that it's just been my dad handed me a bow and arrow and said, "This is what we're doing now." So
This is the way, young Padawan.
yeah. So now we're excited to get out there. Currently, the weather right now we're sitting at about 50 degrees, I believe. We got it's cloud cover. We got a little misty rain, a little bit, and wind's not too bad. Wind is out of the south. It's 14 miles an hour, but we're setting up in a ground blind, so that's going to knock down the wind for us, so it won't be super chilly out there. And yeah, we're hoping we're going to drive out there, set up tuck into some trees ideally, and there's several fields out there, right? We went. I've only been out there once with you last year, I think, last spring.
Yeah.
Last year, spring, yeah. And for some turkey hunting. And so hopefully tucking into a tree line, got some good views going out into some fields. So I'm really thinking we're going to see something, and it's just going to be whether we got some deer walking by us or not.
Yeah. I'm like 99% sure we'll see some. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I should knock on some wood. I'm feeling really confident we'll see some. Just going out completely blind, though. Always kind of just a 50-50 shot of actually, having one within range if you're not really working hard to pattern them and scout it out. But yeah, basically the property, it's really cool. Super fortunate to get to hunt on it. Basically, it's a quarter section, which don't ask me how many acres that is right now. It's whatever a fourth of 640 is. 64, I don't know. I'm not going there. Not doing the math right now. Maybe 160, but I'm not sure.
Wait, 210?
210 is a fourth? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Whatever. Let's say...
quick math from Hudson. There we go.
Yeah, good grief. There I go. So 210-ish acres, but it's cool because some family lives on the west side. There's a big creek that moves through there. A lot of big trees, a lot of bedding area. And then... kind of forest all around those trees. And they live on the west side of the creek. So that area is definitely disturbed more. There's some patches of bedding area and stuff like that. And then there's basically a big area that they just cut for hay. And then on the east side is a big wheat field and basically an area that floods out. I call it just like a puddle, almost like... If it rains a good amount in the fall, that puppy will fill up with some ducks and geese.
Yeah.
So basically there's a wheat field over there. And then also there's kind of some areas that used to be farmed and stuff. Now they're kind of just cut for hay or not really anything, kind of more just pasture land than anything. And then there's kind of an oil road. So I ideally kind of going to find some way where hopefully we can intersect with a few of those features. Where we can have the creek bottom where they might be moving along, maybe have that little oil lease road where they're moving along, and then also have a view out into the fields, where they might be feeding and stuff. I don't know. My thought is if we can kind of get an area where a few of those things converge, just increases our chances, at least for the first shot out here. So
yeah.
What do you think about that? Whenever you're looking at the aerial, did you have like any spots you were really...
I mean, yeah, just hope. I mean, I know. Is it Mike? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know he's got a place in mind for us. He's the landowner out there, but yeah, just looking at it, ideally we'd be setting up kind of close to the creek because good feeling that those deer are going to be cruising that creek bed a lot and moving around through there and then popping up into the fields to maybe get some food or something, hopping back down there to traverse and stuff. So yeah, hopefully we can get a good spot by the creek and catch some deer funneling to and from the fields.
Yeah. It's also cool. The creek is like really, it's a big creek. It's like almost like borderline a small river. So it's cool, like, going down there. I fished a little bit down there. I mean, like, I'm sure there's big catfish and stuff. We just call like Big Drum, which was still like kind of fun, just get down in this canyon creek bottom and I don't know, you never know what you're going to catch down there. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm thinking, yeah, hopefully we can be kind of near the creek bottom, but also, where we can see kind of some of those wide open spots. We got a lot of turkeys out there. I love to hunt turkeys. Came up short last year, mostly because just didn't get out there very much. So I literally got out there once at the very end of the season. I mean, it was like May 20th or something. It was absolutely at the buzzer.
Yeah.
And it was hot. So many ticks and everything.
Yeah.
And I thought I heard one, so I tucked down in these trees. I was just a little solo hunt. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, where's a turkey? They're going to be heading back to roost. It was an evening time. I was like, well, I'm going to get back in this little cleared out area, kind of naturally funnels down into the creek bottom here. They're going to be going back in here to feed and, kind of get up for the roost for the night. So I'm kind of looking for a good tree to sit down, or at least just kind of some brush to tuck behind. And I think I hear, just a little cluck of a hen. And I'm like, oh, baby, there's one close. And I just kind of turned and looked behind me. I was like, well, that's as good a spot as any. So I just sat down and kind of got tucked in there, get out the call. I call a little bit, and it's really quiet. So I was just sitting there. I looked down, and I was like, man, I wonder what that plant is between my legs. And I was like, man, that sure looks a lot like poison ivy. I was like, nah, I don't think it is. And I was like, man, I think it is. So I have this app on my phone. It's called Seek. It's kind of cool, nerdy, but you can scan pretty much any organism, plant, bug, stuff, and it'll tell you what it is. So naturally, I was like, dude, let me look this up on Seek and confirm. Sure enough, I'm sitting in a massive poison ivy patch. I don't know how I came out unscathed on that one.
Gosh.
Literally came home, just immediately showered, but
Yeah.
you just know those days when you get poison ivy head to toe, literally head to toe, if you know what I mean. Nothing worse.
Oh my gosh.
It's like you can't avoid it.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I mean?
inevitable.
You get it, and it's spreading for sure.
Yeah.
So I feel like you get poison ivy pretty bad, don't you?
Yeah, I haven't. Luckily for me, I haven't had it in a while, but it used to tear me up. So I'm very cautious. But hopefully we don't run into any out there.
Yeah.
And which I don't.
No, I don't think that.
I
would
don't
be a
think we
problem
will.
at all.
No, but we're. I think we need to wrap this up right now. We're gonna update you guys here whenever we're done with this hunt, and hopefully we got some stories to tell and some big animals to show off. So
Yeah, I don't know if you're listening to this on YouTube, shoot us a comment below. What you think? We'll come back. Do you think we'll actually get it done, or do you think it'll be a swing and a miss? Just
have faith. Have faith.
Or you can blow up Hudson's DMs if you want to. That works too. But yeah, be thinking about that. I hope you guys have faith in us. But we understand if you're apprehensive of the skill of two accredited deer assassins like ourselves.
Well, all right. We will be back after this hunt, and make your picks now. And this is going to be very short for you guys, but a very long time for us. So we'll be back.
All right. Peace out, everyone. Talk to you guys in a little bit. Hit it.
All right, guys. We are back from the hunt. And as you can probably tell by the tone of my voice, we did not get the big bruiser that we were out there hoping to get. We did have a lot of fun, though.
We did. That's what you can chalk most of our hunts up to is a good time.
Yeah. We have a good time. We know how to do that. I guess we'll start from, we pulled in there, and we got, so there on the property, there's two large fields. What did they have planted?
I think wheat's planted. Yeah.
And
classic Oklahoma special.
Yeah,
Winter wheat.
Yeah. We come in, and the first field, 5 deer out on the field?
Yeah, maybe 8. Yeah.
And go to the next field, there's another small group of deer, and probably about 10 to 15 turkeys
Yeah.
in the corner,
Yeah.
which turkeys are fair game. And we started off promising, picked up a little spot. So Glenn had, what, 2 ideas for where we should set up?
Yeah. Yeah, about 2. Yeah.
The place what was the first place that you wanted to set up, or that you're thinking about setting up, that we ended up not going to?
Yeah, the first place was actually on the second field, so it's more interior on the property. And basically, there's a large creek that runs north-south through the property. And I say big creek like, it's literally, I don't know, there's parts you can't touch walking across it swimming-wise. And then there's a small little kind of just a gully almost that runs east-west and runs into that creek. And so where that gully is, it basically separates the 2 wheat fields and provides a little tree line up to basically some backyards with a feeder. And so on our property, it's like where all the bedding looks like, big fields, probably a lot of rutting activity and stuff goes on. And then, on either side would be probably the bedding areas, some feeding areas, stuff like that. So I was like, if we can set up to where, this road, this little kind of gully creek, kind of intersect on the edge of both these fields, it seemed like a good spot to kind of where everything comes together. And I was thinking wind in our face potentially could, never hurts anything to have the wind in your face. So that was kind of my first thought.
Yeah. And then, so we looked at that, and then we went back towards where we came, because we drove in and kind of did a little U-turn and went back down the road, and off of the first field on the other side of the road is kind of like there was a lot of tracks filtering in and out through this opening in the tree line where we set up. And, a lot of good deer sign. I personally am a huge fan of setting up where the deer are coming to and from fields. Especially being a bow hunter, I mean, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good if you're sitting on the edge of the field and there's deer 200 yards away.
Yeah.
So that's just something that you want to keep in mind. That's why I'm a big fan of setting up on little deer highways like that. And so we end up setting up there, and we're setting up the ground blind, and Glenn's looking around, and Glenn's like, there's scrapes everywhere right where we're setting up. I mean, and then directly across from us, there was a big rub on a tree, and we're thinking, oh yeah, like
we're in the money zone.
This is a great spot. We set up the blind. Glenn hit us up with some camouflage, cut down some limbs and stuff, kind of covered our blind in that. So yeah, we get it camoed up. We're feeling really good about our spot, and we get set up in the blind, get the crossbow and everything ready to go, and we have a little view out into the field. We can kind of see through the tree line a little bit, and there's a little gap that we can look through to see kind of if any deer are out in the field. And not too far in, we had like 2 doe out there in the field or something.
Yep.
I couldn't see it. Glenn was the field spotter. So we had a couple doe out there, and it being the middle of the rut, we are rattling every 30 minutes, and we're doing some grunt calls every now and then too. Just because, deer are already riled up, and can't hurt.
No. And just pro tip, if you're ever going to try rattling, maybe grunting, just pro tip is try it before you get in the blind. My first time doing either was in the blind, and first round did not sound good on the rattle. Not great.
It wasn't bad, and
just quiet.
Yeah, it was a little quiet. But so yeah, we're doing that. We're not really seeing anything for the first, besides those 2 doe, first like hour and a half probably.
Yep.
And then I'm looking, and so we're set up about we're set up in kind of a little field opening that goes into the large wheat field, and about I don't know, 40 yards in front of us is where the creek is, and you can kind of see through the trees on the other side of the creek, which is kind of where Glenn was wanting to set up initially. And I see some movement, and we see a doe filtering in on the other side of the creek, filtering into the 2 wheat fields, which is exactly what we thought was going to happen. Just we were set up on the wrong side of the creek. But
Yeah,
it was...
Oh, yeah. We were just kind of hoping it was going to be on this side of the creek.
Yeah. And it's not like that would have been a huge deal because that was a doe. We're not currently out there looking for does. We're looking for a big grandpa bruiser, big poppy coming walking through. So we see that doe. We're like, well, that's a good sign because, deer are starting to filtering in and out of the field. So we're feeling pretty good. And then nothing really for a little bit. And then Glenn hits his 3rd rattle of the evening. And we had a young, what was it, 4-point?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes through the trees.
Yeah, we had a young 4-point out on the wheat field to our right. And Glenn rattles, and this dude came almost at a trot. He was kind of beelining for us a little bit. He made his way over, and he came in through the gap, and he's perked up. And I will say, he was a 4-point, but he was a big-bodied deer. He was a healthy-looking buck, and maybe he was either looking for a show or looking for some smoke because he was up looking around trying to figure out where these bucks were and everything. And
Yeah.
so that was a pretty cool. It's always a pretty cool experience calling in any animal.
Yeah.
And being able to attract something. And so that was really cool. And so that gives us a little glimmer of hope, but the sun is on its way down. I think it was probably about sunset whenever that buck came over. Mm-hmm. And sadly after that we didn't really have anything.
Yeah, we finished out the evening just pretty much chilling. I think, I don't know, the main takeaway for me is a lot of times you can think and oh man, we screwed up this, we rushed the shot, we didn't see crap, and all that is just part of it. Especially that was our first time to ever deer hunt there. I shoot up some waterfowl on the field sometimes there, and I've turkey hunted once or twice, but I've never deer hunted it. And so, setting up where we were, especially with the crossbow, there was a spot we could have sat at up on the hill, overlook anything, fits within 200 yards.
This would have been a different hunting story if we had a rifle and just set up on that hill, because it would have been piece of cake.
Yeah, and I thought about bringing one. I'm not above that.
No, and we should say this: we're not above people rifle hunting. I mean, really anything. I don't think we have a prejudice against.
Except crossbows.
Yeah. But we were crossbow hunting because I grew up bow hunting, and that's just how I like to hunt, and it's a little more of a challenge. I will say that. I don't think there's really a denial on that aspect of bow versus gun hunting. But if we would have brought a rifle, not to say we would have killed. I don't know if there was a giant buck that happened to walk out on those fields at any point. We couldn't see the second field at all
that we know of.
Yeah, but we would have at least had a shot on a deer.
Yeah. Which I think late December, there's that holiday season. And I have a couple guys that have been I've shot a deer before. I kind of want to go. Well, maybe we can go out there and just, let some people harvest a couple does. It'll be fairly... I told him, I was like, it's not going to be a hard hunt, but if you want some deer meat, like we can go do that. So
Yeah, and I will be harvesting another doe this year. I can tell you that, but probably later in December, early first week of January is probably when I'll try and shoot a doe again. But yeah, that was the hunt. We had a blast doing it, and it was really cool rattling that buck in.
Awesome.
I've only had that happen twice when I've been hunting, so it's always fun doing that, and it's always fun being out there during the rut. And I will also say, as far as deer meat goes, had some of my first deer meat the other day. Our buddy Gibson, he made some venison tacos, some soft taco. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they were good.
Like kind of like fajita style.
Yeah, just not. I mean, he soaked them in it was like Worcestershire. He put some pepper in there. He put some garlic stuff. I don't know the whole recipe, but just soaked them, cooked them up, and put a little salsa, a little cheese on there. Oh my gosh, it was good. And maybe it was just because that was the first venison I've had this year. I don't know, but
it was smacking.
It was smacking.
That's awesome.
And recipe might be coming on our blog soon. Just stay tuned for that.
Oh yeah, keep an eye out on that puppy. Don't count on it.
Don't. Yeah,
but there might be a couple things coming out this season.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, I think that'll probably wrap it up for this episode. We're trying to just, keep trying some new things on these. Let us know what you think, what you like. Please give us a follow on Instagram, Yellow Hat Outdoors. Anything that you guys are interested in hearing about, anything you don't know about that, whether we know about it or not, we can probably find someone that does. So
yeah,
always looking for topics, guests, ideas. And so hopefully, you guys are enjoying these. We're going to keep putting them out once a week. Hopefully Tuesdays, I think, is the goal. Yeah. So anyway, we got a lot to learn on making these things. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Oklahoma Outdoor Adventures Podcast out.